Hey everyone, Eugene here. Thanks for watching. I want to talk about the Les Exclusifs de Chanel, which is one of my favorite ranges in all of perfume and one that I've been talking about on my YouTube channel for many years. And I've shared my love and passion and interest and kind of discovery of them. And I often get asked, which is your favorite one, or which are your top 5, or what are your top 10 Les Exclusifs de Chanel? And it's a great question. You know, I get where it's coming from and I understand your interest, but it's not one that's so easy for me to answer. And the reason being is because I love all of them, truly. I have a deep appreciation for every single one for a different reason. Also, it would be kind of like choosing a favorite child of mine, and I wouldn't want to leave one out, but another reason is I wear fragrance for many different reasons, and depending on that day, what I'm doing, what I feel like, what I want the perfume to do for me, I might choose a different one. But for the most part, I do like to wear perfumes to discover the artistry behind it, to stir an emotion within me. That's probably one of the biggest reasons. And there is one specific Les Exclusifs that does that for me more than any other. Not just the Les Exclusifs, but from all my perfumes, there's one specific one that does that more than any other fragrance. And I'm going to share that with you today, and I'll tell you what exactly it does for me. It is kind of a profound feeling and mood and emotion that it sets for me. Probably one of the biggest emotions that I'm able to capture. But, I've talked about all the Les Exclusifs on my channel over the years. So if you're not familiar, go back and watch some of my videos. But I've called, Cuir de Russie one of the greatest perfumes ever to exist. And, I still stand behind that. I love it for its use of birch tar and leather, its green floral leather accords, soapiness, sexual undertones. It's just a very classy and sophisticated fragrance. Love it to bits. And I've reviewed Coromandel, an earthy patchouli, woody, smoky. One of my favorite patchouli perfumes, one of my favorite Chanels. But I'm going to keep saying this for all of these. I love it. And an even bigger and bolder release from Chanel is the most recent Le Lion, which is an even smokier, even woodier, scratchier, drier fragrance. Big, bold, leather, slightly animalic fragrance. Sycamore, I love this for its earth tones, its dry, crisp vetiver, the use of spices, its nuttiness, rootiness, absolutely gorgeous. One of my, again, I'm going to say favorites. I say that loosely with these because they're all my favorites. But this, if I had to choose a signature scent, it could be the Simple Beauty of Boy, very classy and elegant. And I find this very much to be a fougere of the number 5 family. So this would be number 5 with a lavender in the heart of it. It carries those waxy pastels and that creamy, warm sandalwood vanilla base that you find in 5, Bois d'Azil, and number 22. 22 is a huge favorite with the use of that more intense ice-cold aldehydes, the soapy aldehydes in the opening, a more intense version of number 5. However, the one fragrance that strikes a chord with me and conjures up all these feelings is, and this isn't to say that this is the best smelling fragrance, this is going to get you the noticed, or it's going to get you complimented, or it's the most complex Chanel, or it's the best Chanel, or it's the best anything, because it's not. It's simply not. It's just a fragrance that I resonate. So this isn't permission for you to go out and run out and spend a ton of money and buy this perfume, because you may not even like it. However, I love it, and I want the world to know that this is probably one of my favorite perfumes because it resonates with me on a very deep spiritual and emotional level. This is Bel Respiro. And this is a very green perfume. I'm connected to green perfumes because it reminds me of the outdoors, and I enjoy spending time outdoors. But I would consider this, a Bel Respiro, a woody floral musk. However, if Chanel wanted to market it as a chypre, I wouldn't really stand against that. I can kind of see that as well because of the heavy use of green notes and earth tones. But it has a large orris root in here, a very waxy, dry, powdery iris. Orris usually puts me in some kind of contemplation mood where I'm thinking all day and I'm kind of gazing out the window, stuck in a deep thought. It's very green and grassy, kind of wet, kind of fresh without being ozonic or using the material of cologne, which I find a little bit repulsive. I'm not a big fan of colognes or ozone notes, which come off slightly eggy. Also kind of, it feels wet. Not necessarily like a body of water, but more like wet grass, maybe rain. So it's not an aquatic either, but it is kind of a fresh green perfume, I find. It's got a nice dark leather aspect to it, very spicy. And it's got a use of amber in here, a spicy amber, without, that cliche amber with vanilla benzoin tonka. But I do sense some sort of amber in here. Also, there is the florals. It has a floral component to it, so I love florals as well. Daffodil, hyacinth, maybe some lilac. And the way they use these florals is it is slightly disturbing, as they seem like they're decaying flowers. They're very wet and kind of mulchy, and they're on the verge of just collapsing, dying. So it does, again, it conjures up ideas of life and death and rebirth and reincarnation and all of these kind of existential questions that I have, or I find myself thinking about. But when I wear this, I feel very connected to myself, and I feel like I'm connected to the earth and Mother Nature and all things beautiful. And I'll give you a little bit of context. Last year I was at the beach with two of my boys. We spent the entire day there, so we're kind of exhausted, and at the end of the day we went for a drive home, and it's about 2.5 hours, and most of it's through the country. Being a long day, two of the boys fell asleep, and I came to this area on the way home where I captured a very beautiful image of the earth, and it was, the sun was out and the sky was very blue, and it was littered with white, beautiful, puffy, fluffy clouds that looked like marshmallows. I just wanted to take a bite out of them. Very, very green rolling hills. Any way I looked, all looked down, so I had a very beautiful view. I feel like I was on some kind of hilltop or something. I can see kind of the arc in the earth. There was this curvature in the earth, a very slight arc, but you can see a very round top of the earth. There was the arc in the atmosphere, and it captured me. It was such a beautiful view, and I thought, oh goodness, like, I would love to live here. I'd love to spend the rest of my life here. I got this kind of feeling and this sensation over me of just like awareness and safety and beauty and all of this. So I kind of pulled over, and I wanted to capture this moment a little bit longer. So I pulled over, I got out of my car, and I just stood there like looking and admiring all the beauty and observing it, and really just admiring and observing the awareness without kind of worrying about anything. And that beauty really captured and resonated with me to the point where, it brought tears to my eyes. I started to swell up, and it wasn't out of sadness. It was just out of sheer love. For the first time in a long time, I felt the beauty and the magnificence of the earth had completely filled my heart. And I wanted to capture and record this and cherish it and savor it and remember it. And that's exactly what I did. And now every time I go back to Bel Respiro and I wear it, you know, the feeling that Bel Respiro brings over me is that going back in time there and seeing the beauty of the earth and the sun and nature, and feeling connected to a divine source, whatever that be, whatever people want to name that source. We all got a different name for it, but it was just a very deep and sensual and meaningful connection for me that had completely filled me up. And Bel Respiro kind of, you know, it reminds me of, or it brings to mind that I can kind of fill my own heart whenever I come into the awareness, whenever I just admire simple things, and they don't cost me anything except for that moment in time. They don't cost me any money. They don't cost me any effort. It's just observing and coming into presence. And that's why I love Bel Respiro. I don't know what it is. It's just like so completely simple, but it's a magnificent fragrance for me. This is the Eau de Toilette version that I have. I was lucky enough to find this on eBay for a great price, and I'm not an eBay hunter. I don't search for a lot of perfumes on eBay, but I was so lucky to find this. And most recently, I did get the Eau De Parfum. I've had this for a couple months, and I love this as well, but it doesn't trigger the exact same emotion for me as the Eau de Toilette. It's close, but it's not the exact same. I find this is more ambery and less floral, maybe less powdery. I get less of the floral decay. It's still a gorgeous, you know, it does pretty much the same things, but it doesn't capture the same feelings for me, which is unfortunate. But considering that this is a brand new bottle, I always give brand new bottles a little bit more time to open up and develop and give them that space. So I've only worn this about 3 times now, but I'm hoping that it'll be able to capture the same feelings for me as the Eau de Toilette. So that's why I love Bel Respiro. A lot of people have asked me, well, like, what's your fascination with Bel Respiro? Well, that's just it. When it completely warms and fills my heart with beauty and love. And, you know, it kind of not only fills me, but I feel like I have a love for the entire, everything else that's out there, you know, regardless of what it is. Everything is just love. So there you go, Bel Respiro. So I gave you my favorite Les Exclusifs de Chanel. If you want to drop yours in the comment, I'd love to hear it. Let me know what your favorite Les Exclusive is. Let me know what your top 5 Les Exclusive is, or whatever else you want to comment. I love seeing your faces in the comments. I do appreciate you. I love seeing who's here, who's watching. So thank you for that. And until next time, we'll see you again. Take care.